everybody, and welcome to Italy. The bigger picture here is that it's round 6 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, but today marks the opening round of the EMX two-stroke championship. The last time we saw these guys on track was last year in Turkey, where Mike Krass rounded out as the overall winner and a champion in the EMX two-stroke category. He hedged out Brad Anderson and Manuel Jacopi. This weekend, though, they all start from scratch. Manuel Jacopi was fastest in the pre-practice, and he followed up again in the time practice on his JK Racing Yamaha. And Frederico Tuani was second, Brad Anderson third, Jonas Nedved was fourth. And then Cade Tinkler-Walker rounded out the top 5. We'll see the times in just a few moments, but it's a beautiful day here in Faenza. We're at a motocross track just down the road, a few K outside of the main town itself. And actually only about 10 or 15 minutes from the road race circuit, the car race circuit at Imola, where we've ridden in the last couple of years as well. Just under 1,700 meters long, the racetrack here, and it will be a hard pack circuit this weekend. And here's the first look at the racetrack. It's about 115, 120 meters to turn 1. Not quite 180 degrees, but you can see the S is in the middle there. They're up and down, up and down, up and down. Then at the top end, the highest point of the racetrack, sector 3. And then we work our way right the way back down to the lowest part of the racetrack, sector 4, and the finish line before rejoining at the start straight. Now, the last time we came here was back in 2012. Jeffrey Hurlings was world champion that day. Tony Cairoli was world champion for the 6th time that day. But a slightly different look to the racetrack to what we had back then. Here's how the riders go to the line then for EMX2t, the two-stroke championship. Everyone in 252 strokes. Manuel Jacopi then making it an Italian 1-2 ahead of Federico Tuani, the Husqvarna Junior Racing Maddie rider. Then Brad Anderson on the Verdi Substance KTM. Jonas Nedved, Cade Tinkler-Walker, Gianluca Deghi, Mario Tamai, Eugenio Barbelia, Marco Lolli, and Sebastian Zanato. Manuel Aberio, Martin Michaelis, Loris Freidig, Paolo Ermini, Andero Lusbo, Nikolai Christensen, Alexander Marquez, and then Aidan Williams and a couple more as well. 22 riders going to the line for this first race of the two-stroke championship. A few moments ago, the riders headed out onto the circuit for their sighting lap. They're now back in the waiting zone. Beautiful blue skies here, vineyards across the background there. We are in a valley, so from where we are, actually, you can't see any of the roads or anything coming in, coming out of the circuit. There's Gianluca Deghi just going through, Cade Tinkler-Walker heading out on his Suzuki. Riders making their way to the line then. 161 just moving on to the line there. That was Aidan Williams, the Brit on his KTM. Obviously, because we've only got 22 riders, they'll box out the inside and the outside just to keep everybody nice and compact. Either way, though, there'll be a nice little bunch going up into the first turn. You can see where they've worked on parts of the track just coming out of that final turn, just centre of your screen to the right. That's a left turn that brings the riders back on the start straight. There's the number 60, the first look of Brad Anderson. And number 3, Federico Tuani. And though on the Verdi Substance KTM, looking fired up and ready to go. "25 minutes plus 2 laps, the duration of these races." So who will it be that grabs that all-important hole shot here? And the first time of asking, EMX two-stroke race 1, the first round, the first race of the series. Slightly overdue for various reasons, of course, but 25 minutes plus 2, about to get underway here. Who will it be that grabs that all-important hole shot? There's the 270, just getting ready. That is the Junior Barbelia, but the gate about to drop now. The Fly Racing 15-second board is up and gone and turned. That long drag, probably the longest start straight on the calendar, actually, as riders just squirm their way through. Watered first corner through these 2 giant rollers into the next turn. There's a single to the inside, riders down. So the and riders going down left, right and centre. Just Talk about brain fade. These guys haven't raced in a long time, some of them, and you see how much water they put down on the track. Maybe that's just catching them out, but you'd have thought we'd have just had a rainstorm. It's 30 degrees and not a drop in the sky. There's Anderson, though, number 60, just behind the orange and actually making a move down the inside of Federico Tuani. But it's Loris Freidig who leads the way. It was an absolutely perfect racetrack through the pre-practice and time practice sessions, but it's an absolute quagmire now. Very slippery. It's a hard-packed track, clay base, so any amount of water on it just makes it very, very slick. Uphill through the wave section here. That used to be the coming out of the start chicane many years ago and cresting here into what was pretty much turn 2. But as you can see, it's all changed. This is the highest point of the racetrack here. Deggy making a move down the inside there, the 888. Down the inside of the 161 of Aidan Williams. So Williams getting off to a flying start, but just how look. I'm not even going to go there. Hard and slick. Launching downhill back to the lowest point of the racetrack through that little dink. This tabletop on the corner, about 18 meters. This one about 22 meters long. And about 15 off the final one here before heading into the final left that takes us down past pit lane. And into the final corner. There's your Monster Energy finish line jump. We go right again and then left back onto the start straight, but it's Loris Freidig who leads. Second is Anderson. Tinkler Walker there just taking a position on the yellow Suzuki. It was Jonas Nedved, I think he may have moved by, or Tomai maybe. But anyway, Freidig leads, Anderson second, Federico Tuani is in third, Gianluca Deghi fourth, Marco Lolli is in fifth place, sixth is Bavalia, seventh is now Aidan Williams, eighth is Nedved, ninth Tinkler Walker, 10th Mario Tomai. There is Walker in yellow, number 651. Trying to pick his way through what was a perfectly manicured racetrack. Here's what happened at the start of the race. Oh, and Walker thrown his goggles off already. Wow. And that was Manuel Jacopi, 371, that went down there. He looked like he high-sided before he even got to the jump, and his bike went from one side of the track to the other, and then took out the other rider there. Well, Tinkler Walker then, finding his way by the 161 of Aidan Williams. And it looks like Bavalia might just follow him through as well. And he does. Or is that Jonas Nedved, actually? Let's have a look. Well, Andera Lusbo's out. So Andera Lusbo, who finished fifth in this championship last year, he's been down and not able to finish the race. So there's the 202. Jonas Nedved from the Czech Republic, launching his way over that second of three tabletops. Might be 8th or 9th, actually, depending on who he's passed or being passed by on this lap. Nightmare situation for these guys. Absolutely pristine track when they first went out this morning, not too heavy. Completely different racetrack. It's like they've gone to sleep. We've had a storm blow through and really turned this track into something that they didn't expect. They've probably gone out in tear-offs rather than roll-offs. But anyway, still Loris Freidig who leads. 4 seconds clear of Brad Anderson. Anderson about 4/10 slower than the 331 of Freidig. There's the 21 just down there, Marco Lolli, but Tinkler Walker closing the door and finding his way past Eugenio Barbaglia. There's Federico Tuani, so he's there in third place. Gianluca Deghi should be next on the 888 machine, but difficult to see because of the gap. Right, there's Freidig, 3:31. Made a good start. He's pretty much kept a clean pair of goggles throughout. 19 minutes to go. Loris Freidig then making his way towards the end of lap 2 here on his Yamaha. Hits the Monster Energy line now. It was a 2:11.3 last time around. It's a 2:12.1 this time around. And instead, it's Brad Anderson that takes the fastest lap of the race. 2:11.279. He's moved to within 3.2 seconds. That's the gap. Now, that start straight is about 120 meters long, 115, 120 meters long to this point here. Anderson just burying that Verde Substance KTM into that first corner. Down into turn 2, the short little step down, about 18 meters or so. And then uphill. These hills are a lot steeper than they look on TV, by the way, and then dropping down before leveling out around about this point. Heavily built up from the ground, from right the way down to this point here, that berm. Again, another short, sharp climb into this top right-hander. And this turn here, something of a double apex, really. It kind of, you go in and then it tightens up last minute before probably the second longest climb on the hill, on the racetrack here. I remember coming here in 2009 when Sunday was an absolute quagmire. It was ruts right the way from top to bottom from those descents. Anderson looks like he's found his rhythm, though. Stayed out of trouble on the first lap, made a couple of, not aggressive moves, but vital moves, I would say, just to get himself into a circuit, into a position on track where he's got a good, clear view, doesn't need to take any risks. Can't win it in the first race, but you can certainly lose it, of course. Ando looking good as he homes in on Loris Freidig. Babelia making a mistake at the top of the hill, so that would have cost him a little bit of time, obviously. So Anderson hits the line. That gap steadying. It's only 3.2 still, but it was only pulled back about a tenth there, maybe not even. So Loris Freidig just putting in a consistent lap that time around. So this was Eugenio Barbalia, top of the hill, cross-rutted, and then a little bit of whiskey and bucking rodeo. Flying W, all of the classic phrases. Lays it down, picks it up. Managed to save his gloves, though, more importantly. We heard the storms were coming in on Monday. Wasn't aware that they arrived 2 days early, but difficult first race for these guys. First race, just make a good start to the championship, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. Riders falling between turn 1 and 2, and then over the next jump going into turn 3. Yeah, it's touching 30 degrees, but see how, so the circuit here, very hard packed, very clay-based. And a little bit of water on it. The circuit's going to get harder and harder, and any wet moisture that's in and around those areas. These guys are on square, knobbled tires, you know, and all of a sudden you'll just see that they're trying to chase the traction. Those berms around the outside Another rider down. So the 202 of Jonas Nedved. He was in 6th place. There's Ando. Look at the splits, actually. He was about 4/10 quicker at Sector 1. He lost about 7/10 at Sector 2. He looks like he may have gained a little bit at Sector 3 briefly, but overall, the lap time, yeah, he's lost 6/10 overall. So gap just under 4 seconds now between Floris Freidig and Brad Anderson. Federico Tuani still in 3rd. He's about 9 seconds further back. Gianluca Deghi is next. Then we've got Kay Tinkler Walker. Jonas Nedved didn't lose too much time, it appears. He's still there in 6th. Marco Lollin out to 7th. Eugenio Barbaglio is 8th. Mario Tomai and Emmanuel Alberio running out your top 10. Sebastian Zanato is 11th. We've lost Paolo Ermini from 12th position. Now showing his 16th because Nikolai Christensen, Aidan Williams, Martin Michaelis and Thomas Haas. Make sure I pronounce that H at the start of his name there. Then Gianmarco Meolani, Jacopo Rampoldi, Massimiliano Piazza and Alessandra Marquez. They are your top 20. Little battle going on here. Barbaglio just holding off the 9.74 of Mario Tomai, and he tips over on the inside there, does Barbaglio. So at least 2 crashes now for the Husqvarna rider. Only 12.5 minutes plus 2 to go then. This gripping first race from EMX2 two-stroke. It was an Italian championship here a couple of weeks before. We headed to Latvia for the first of those triple headers. And it was just a classic, hard-packed, baked, blue groove circuit that day. As you can see, nothing like that today. Loris Freidig, who's never won a European Championship race, now 4 seconds clear of Brad Anderson. Man down at the top of the hill here somewhere. Oh, it's still, is that still Barbaglio trying to get that bike started? No, another man down. Yellow helmet, pulled a 180, in a 180. Figure that one out. There's Ando. Lost another couple tenths in the first sector. So Freidig from Switzerland just opening up. Slight advantage. Kay Tinkler Walker, though, setting the fastest Sector 2 of the race, a 30.1. He is still in 5th place, though. At 13 seconds down on Gianluca Deghi, so not really going to influence that position at the moment, but 10.5 plus 2 to go. Anything can happen, as we've seen. The hard, slick nature of the racetrack with a little bit of moisture thrown in certain parts. Lose the front. You could lose the front or the back end at a moment's notice. Federico Tuani, though, taking the long sweep through over the short, sharp crest. Will turn right here, drop down the second of the Monster Energy hills. There's Gianluca Deghi. See how the back end just moving around as they got on the gas, landing from that first jump to the second one. Want to get on the gas, they're still turning left. There's so much unpredictability at the back end through that part of the racetrack. bumps, hard pack, wet bumps. Into the final corner, Gianluca Deghi, still there in 4th place, but he was 3 seconds down, 2.5 seconds down that time around. On Federico Tuani, who's there. So the Husqvarna Junior Racing Maddie rider, well, one of 2 actually, because the other one, Eugenio Barbalia, now in 8th place, having picked himself up after at least 2 mistakes in the race so far. There's Barbalia. Sorry, Gianluca Deghi. Real heavy, claggy stuff when it's as wet as this as well. Short, sharp drop. Again, back end just grappling for traction as they start to peel left halfway down the hill. A little bit out of shape. Freidig still leads though. Brad Anderson second. More than 4 seconds that gap between Freidig and Anderson. Here is your race leader. Just over 7.5 minutes to go. It looks like he's still managed to maintain that gap over Anderson, who's coming out of the final turn now, coming towards us here. Yeah, 5 seconds. So he's pulled a full second pretty much that time around. Oh, Anderson really having to put some lean into that just to keep himself upright. Lost balance there through the rut. And again, another slight mistake. So maybe just trying to push too hard, and those little errors are creeping into his game, maybe. See if he can pull something out of the hat in the final few laps here. You see that just pushing that hard. Ando as flamboyant as always. Long, deep clay ruts. The 125s are going to have some fun in the next race, aren't they? Full grid of 40 teenaged 125 racers. Deep ruts, muddy racetrack. Been interested in opening a couple of laps for them. Especially if they throw a little bit more water down between races, just to combat the rising temperatures here. But the number 3, Federico Tuani, about 11 seconds down on Brad Anderson. Good ride for Tuani, this is. Made a good start, stayed out of trouble relatively early in the race. And with 5 minutes to go, just enjoying the space between him and Anderson in second. And Gianluca Deghi about 5 or 6 seconds behind him in 4th place. No one putting him under pressure, doesn't have to rush his lines. Able to stay out of the deep ruts through that first corner, look. looking nice and neat. There's Deggy just behind him. Here's your race leader, Loris Freidig. I wonder if he had bacon for breakfast. So here's Freidig, losing time in the final corner. How much time has it cost him, though? Sector 1, about 3/4 of a second. Pulls it back, though, in Sector 2, so as you were. Little bum whip there as he hits that first jump on the turn. Hasn't had too much drama, has he, in the race? Hasn't really had too much to think about. Anderson may be a little bit closer than the 4.6 that time around, so he may have just pulled a little bit back, but soon find out. Exactly the same, 4.6. Almost identical lap times as well. So this race flying by, 3 minutes plus 2 to go. It's a shame that Manuel Jacopi took out of the race on the opening lap coming out of turn 1, and Dero Luzbo, another favourite for a podium or a win at least here, also went out at the end of the first lap. Got a purple timing screen here, 2:10.7. Cade Tinkler-Walker in 5th place. 8 seconds down on Gianluca Deghi. So as we look at Brad Anderson here in 2nd position, just over 4.5 seconds down on Loris Freidig, the race leader. Take a look at what happened at the start of the race and why Manuel Jacopi wasn't able to rejoin. So over on the, he gets tagged there. Oh, and then he headbutts the tyre, puts his hand behind the wheel, and then he's a passenger. Watch it from this angle, look, almost eats the rear tyre. Who was that was down there with him? Was it 380? Yeah, 380 was in there. So that was Massimiliano Piazza. He's in the points, by the way, 18. But with 22 riders lining up, 2 of those being Luzbo and Jacopi, really difficult to score points in this first race, so he was obviously able to pick himself. But Jacopi, though, was just nursing an injured hand, it looked like there. Trying to eat rubber for breakfast. No thanks. So we're 10 laps in. Cade Tinkler-Walker, originally from sort of like the Canadian part of town, I believe. He's been on the circuit a few years now and he's tried his hand in Europeans and a little bit of MX2 wild cardery, and then disappeared for a few years, just riding in Germany and Italy and various places like that. And good to see him lining up here, though. He's in 5th position. Another fastest lap of the race, 5 seconds down on Gianluca Deghi. And with 3 to go, he's going to be able to nick into that sort of 4th place, give him a real chance of getting on a podium. Here he is. He's had no goggles since the first race, of course, because of that huge downpour that we had moments before the race. Forced him to throw his goggles off early. And Anderson also chipping away at the lead. 3.6 seconds down now between him and Freidig. 2:10.8 that time around, a 2:11.9 for Freidig. So the last couple of laps, Ando has been chipping away, but looking solid here. Cade Tinkler-Walker. If he looks up and sees the 8.88 just ahead of him, there is Ando. Back marker, and then the rider in blue, a nervous look over the shoulder, got a bit of a kick coming out of that turn as well. All of a sudden, Loris Freidig is under pressure. Heat and frying pans spring to mind. Anderson legging his way through that final turn, and the long rut takes him halfway down the start straight, but he's within touching distance now of victory and 25 points. How much of that is down to experience? Letting Freidig have his moment at the top. How much is back markers? How much is it just the circuit starting to come to Anderson now? He's going to go for the deep inside rut. Maybe that's also where he's picking up some of the time as well, taking the shorter routes through the corners. I find myself getting all excited here all of a sudden with 2 to go. The octaves have raised a little. Freidig, Anderson. 18 seconds clear of Federico Tuani at the moment as they head uphill for the penultimate time. Anderson on the Verdi Substance KTM, there he is. Second in the race. There's the leader just ahead of him. Ah, oh, squeaky brakes, Brad. Dragging that back brake through the corner. Blue flags being waved for, is that the number 40 there? Martin Michaelis, he's in 13th position. Looks like he's out for a Saturday afternoon ride. Nothing in it between these two, though. I wonder if Freidig there just went to the left just to hit the water in the puddle there. Nice little trick that is, when you know you're being closed down and there's a little bit of water to the left of you or to the right of you, go straight through it, ruin the guy's goggles behind you. Final lap, less than a second between first and second. Oh, Anderson just gets held up in the rut momentarily. Has 20 race wins so far in his European Championship career, and has the most actually European Championship race wins since the EMX two-stroke, whether it was 300 or 250s as it is now, came into play in 2014. So looking at taking his 21st race win. Loris Freidig looking at taking his first. Again, shorter distance to the inside there for Anderson. Through this little kink into the second highest climb, launching downhill here. Will Anderson just follow Freidig? I think he will. Got the protection of the bank to the outside. Bit of a bodge through that turn though for Anderson, but he's getting good drive on the uphill. We're going to see a last lap mad dash to cash. Another nervous look over the shoulder from Loris Freidig. Ando goes to the inside. Again, dragging back brake through that long left. Oh, listen to the clutch action there of Loris Freidig. Just on, off, on, off, on, off. Anderson cutting to the inside, but he'll get the door closed in his face there. Just a couple of corners to go on this racetrack. Dropping downhill. This is the first of them. The left-hander here at the bottom. Another sly look from Freidig. We've got the final left And then the final right turn before the flag. Anderson can't do it here. It's not going to happen. Oh! Bouncing, unless he's going to take him out in the final corner here. He thinks about it, but he's not close enough. And Freidig is going to take his first European Championship win with the fastest lap of the race as well, a 2:08.8. Oh, and Anderson, no need to brake check me there, pal. Race is done. Anyway, Freidig. Watch this here. Anderson, if he'd have got on the gas in a more controlled manner, he's just got on the gas too much. Front ran away from him. Bounce. Both feet were off the pegs. But in the end, it was Freidig who came through and took the win. So Freidig wins the race then. Anderson second, Federico Tuani third, Gianluca Deghi fourth. Tinkler Walker was fifth, Mario Tamai, Eugenio Barbalia, Marco Lolli, Sebastian Sonato and Emmanuel Alberio. And I do believe they lapped up to Mario Tamai in sixth position. So top five finishing on the same lap in EMX 2t Race 1. Anyway, here's Lisa Leyland with Loris Freidig.
Loris Freidig, massive congratulations. First European Championship race win for you. Stayed out of trouble in the opening lap, but you were under pressure at the end there.
Yeah, I got a good start, came good out of the gate, took the hole shot, and then, yeah, I just had my flow, made my laps consistently, and at the end Anderson was coming, but I could hold on, and I'm really happy.
Good luck for the second race.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Loris Freidig enjoying those Weetabix for breakfast. 4/10 as he came over the line ahead of Brad Anderson. Taking his first European Championship race win, the youngster. But he made a good start, pretty much led right from the very first moment. 13 laps later, he crossed the line victorious for the first time in his racing career. Let's give you the rundown then for the EMX 2-stroke race 1. Freidig wins it from Anderson, Federico Tuani second. Anderson taking the fastest lap on the final lap. Gianluca Deghi was fourth. Cade Tinkler-Walker fifth. Mario Tamai sixth. A lap down, Eugenio Barbalia, Marco Lolli and Sebastian Sonato. And then Emmanuel Alberio. Jonas Nedved, he was up there in the early stage of the race, but then faded back after a couple of crashes. Nikolai Christensen, Paolo Ermini, Martin Michaelis, Aidan Williams, Thomas Haas, Gianmarco Maiolani, Massimiliano Piazza, Jacopo Rompoldi, and Alexander Marquez. Overview of part of the paddock down there, the opposite side to the racetrack, to the right of the start straight. One, 2, 5's getting ready to go to the line, but here's what happened in EMX 2t Race 1. All the riders on 250 strokes, charging uphill about 115 meters to turn 1. But drama immediately. Look at the guy in about 5th place. Tags a rear wheel about now, goes off the side of the track, through the tough block, and down. He picks himself up, and then immediately starts looking at his left hand. That was Manuel Jacopi. A couple of riders crashed out as well on the opening lap, but it was Loris Freidig who led. Anderson was into second quickly. On the number 16, Federico Tuani was into third. But drama for Andero Luzbo. He also fell and was out of the race. So two of the main hitters in this one not able to score points. The 2.70 of Eugenio Barbalia, he went out of 6 and he would fall again later on in this left-hander at the bottom of the hill after he just passed the 9.74 of Mario Tamai, just there. Federico Tuani, though, was on his own pretty much. On the number 3, Husqvarna Junior Racing Maddie Machine. Up front, out on his own, though, Loris Freidig. This was the only real moment that he had whilst holding a nice, comfortable 4-second advantage over Anderson. Kay Tinkler-Walker was putting in fastest lap after fastest lap on his way to 5th place as the circuit started to dry out. But the final lap, Freidig and Anderson, there was nothing between them. It was a final lap showdown between the Yamaha and the KTM rider. Anderson, though, on the Verdi Substance KTM, coming out of the final turn here, just asked a little bit too much at the rear wheel. The front came up, he got a little bit squirrely. That was his moment gone. Freidig held on into the final corner. He set the fastest lap of the race. It was quickly eclipsed by Anderson, but it was the first win for Freidig. And that was EMX two-stroke action, 252 strokes, EMX2t Race 1. Right, let's take a look at some of the best moments, and when we return, it will be at 1:55 local time, so is that about 9 minutes or so? We'll see you on EMX 125 Race 1.